Hi, everyone. My name is Paul Notar. I'm the Associate Director of International Admission at Massachusetts College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences. And I am here today with three of our esteemed students, international students, who are going to bring to life the student experience at MCPHS. We're going to learn their backgrounds, their programs, what they're studying, and more about why they chose MCPHS and all the information that's relevant to incoming admitted students. What's most important to you? So first, we'll go in order, starting with Tati. Tati, tell us about you, your background, one highlight of your experience so far, and what you think makes MCPHS unique among other universities.
Hi everyone, my name is Tatiana Chu, but I go by Tati because it's a little bit smaller, a little bit easier to remember. I am a third year PharmD student here at MCPHS, and I am an international student coming from Brazil. And I would say that one thing that makes NCPHS really unique is the ratio of student to professor, because I know that there are a lot of universities in the US that it seems like there's just this giant lecture hall that you're not going to be able to talk to your professor, you're not going to be able to make that connection. But because MCPHS is a smaller school, you get that one-on-one feeling with them, and the professors are very accessible. If you need anything from them, you can always go to their office hours, or maybe go to their office when their doors open, and they will be happy to talk to you about anything and everything you need help with. They are very accessible. So that's one thing that I really appreciate at MCPHS. Um, I would say that my experience here has been great so far. I've had a lot of support. I made a lot of friends and connections here, and that I honestly wouldn't be able to make if I stayed in my home country. I would say that coming to a new country in a new environment has, of course, broadened my horizons a lot, and it had made me grow as a person. I can't even start explaining how, but yeah, it was one of the best choices I've have made in my life so far. Yeah, so yeah.
Thank you so much, Tati. Emily.
Hi guys, my name is Emily. I am a third year PharmD student along with Tati. We're all in the same classes. Um, so yeah, I would say that MCP is unique. For me, it's unique because we have such a good support system. We have what we call the MAC team. So each student has a faculty mentor and an academic coach. So they're both going to help you with like all your schedules. And like if you don't know which classes you have to take, or you don't really want to make it, they can make it for you. It's just really a good team to be surrounded by, just because if you have any questions, you can always ask them. Like, I'm from Quebec, Canada, so my first language is French. I only really spoke English in my high school English classes. So at first, I could only say like really yes, no toaster, to be honest. But then when I came here, I had to speak English and I had to take English classes. And I never felt stressed or like scared, just because I had such a good support system. The students around here, they're a bunch of international students. So we're all going through it. We're all able to talk to each other and like, try to find ways to get through it together. But yeah, MCB just has a really good support system. I think that made my experience really good. I had really a smooth transition, even though it's a new culture. It's a new language, it's new friends. Even for American students that come to MCP, it's probably the first time that you're not with your mom, with your dad, like when you don't know what to cook or anything, like you want to be surrounded by other people, and MCPHS is a great place to be in, especially in the residence hall. Um, I really encourage living in the residence hall just because from my experience, I met my 3 other roommates and they became my best friend. I still hang out with them. Like they are really my support system they're a person that I go to whenever I miss my mom. I don't know what to cook for dinner, like all those basic things, but it's important to have them. So I really encourage living in the residence hall for your first year if you don't have like a social network here. And yeah, MCPHS is really nice also because the professors, like Tati said, are really accessible. They have a lot of office hours. Even though I'm studying in a new language, my grades have never been this high, which is kind of weird, but like it tells you how the professors are easily accessible. And then when you create a good relationship with your professors, they can offer you opportunities because some of them are actually pharmacists and they're practicing. Their job is not only to be a teacher. So, for example, earlier this semester, a professor in one of my labs offered me a job at Boston Children, which is like one of the biggest hospitals around here. So that is really nice. So yeah, overall my experience went really nice, and I'm sure you guys experience are gonna go really nice too.
Thank you so much, Emilie. Keyur.
Hi everyone, my name is Keyur Maharaj and I am a second-year pre-med and health science student, and I'm part of the SGU pathway, which is with St. George's Medical School. And what I really like about MCPHS is that it gives you that dual program where you are able to do your undergraduate and your medical school together. So with the SGU program, it's 7 years in total, 3 years at MCPHS doing pre-medical and health sciences, and 4 years of medical school. So next year we're going to be signing up for medical school, so we're excited about that. I know as international students, we don't need to take the MCAT. So that was one of the biggest things that is helpful going to MCPHS. It just eliminates one of those stresses. And I do highly recommend going to MCPHS, as Tatiana did say, it does have smaller classes. You do get to meet your professors, and you really do get to build that relationship with them. Another reason to come to Boston would be you have all of the biggest healthcare systems around. Like as Emilie said, Boston Children's Hospital, Beth Israel, Brigham and Women's, all of these hospitals are really great at research and giving you the opportunity as undergraduate students to be a part of the healthcare system. Because I know in your first year, your second year, a lot of students would say, I'm just doing basic biology and chemistry, but those are the building blocks to starting up your years. And I'm very sure that in your second and third year and fourth year, you'll get more specialized and you'll get the opportunity to shadow doctors and nurses and professions in your course that you want to do. And I'm coming from South Africa, but I live in Dubai, so there was a lot of traveling. I would say MCPHS during the application process was very smooth, and they helped you every step of the way, and that's also seen in their schooling system. They are very helpful, they are able to help you, and if you have any questions, they're right there for you. I know just sending an email, I don't just get it like 2 or 3 days after. It's quite quick. Like I'll get it in the next 2 or 3 hours. So I'm really grateful for that. Yeah, so that's my experience so far at MCPHS.
Keyur, that was really informative. Thank you to all three of you. MCPHS is really unique because students are able to get hands-on experience, as you mentioned, Keyur. And when you go to medical school, or when you apply to medical school or any postgraduate school, like for a doctor of physical therapy program or a doctor of optometry program, or even professional pharmacy school, they want to see that you've had a wide variety of different professional experiences. Maybe you've done some research, but there's this important component in the United States system of kind of experimentation, exposure to different fields, so that you're a better healthcare professional in the end. Let's go back to that for Emilie and Tati. Tell us a little bit about your experience with research and kind of your experience outside of the classroom, kind of building up your professional skill set and your resume. Can you point to maybe one or two things that you've done in the past 2 years?
Um, I'm sorry. I can tell a little bit about how MCPHS helps you to get a little bit more experience, at least for the pharmacy doctor program. Both me and Emilie are in our third year, which means that we start our professional years, and which also means that during the summer we get our rotation sites where we can actually go to pharmacies around the US or even Boston, at least so it's a little bit closer, so you can get that hands-on opportunity to see what it is to work in an actual pharmacist, with a pharmacist that's going to guide you and teach you a little bit more on how to go through all of those medications, insurance programs, how to guide and counsel patients that come around. And it just gives you a little bit more sense on how it is to be actually in the field. So I think it is a great opportunity for all students in the pharmacy program to just get the feel of just what it is to be out there. And it's not something that will come only when you graduate. And I would like to elaborate on the rotations a little bit more, because we only start now during the third year, but we do this from now on, from our fourth, fifth, and sixth year. We're going to have a bunch of rotations in different sites, such as community, ambulatory. We're going to have internal med at some point as well. So it doesn't stay only in your common CVS or Walgreens. We go to hospitals, hospice, also home care, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a lot of fields that you can go to, and it's not only limited to one place. That's something that I would like to say, that when people think about pharmacy, they think about only just your normal pharmacist that you go to pick up your prescription or something. But there are so many fields. The field is so broad. You can go to pretty much any place you can think of: industry, hospital, pharmacy. There is really no limit to what pharmacists can do, and I think that's really amazing. Yeah, that's all for me.
Yeah, and if I can add on to that, we also have what's called the honors program. I'm sure you've heard of it. But basically, when you have grades that meets the requirements for the honors program, you can do a lot of research through that honors program. You can practice your presenting skills. So if you ever want to go in the industry, pharmaceutical industry field, it's a good thing to have on your resume, just because you do so many research, and then you present a lot of little projects you do by yourself. So it's really good. The professor are there to improve your skills, so they're going to tell you if you do something wrong, and it's really a place for learning. And besides the honors program, we also have a lot of professional organization. I'm part of the PHASP professional organization. So this is not a club. This is really a professional organization. We're there to, have more opportunities related to the pharmacy field, building a network, because we have pharmacists that come and speak to us in school. You can also gain leadership position through that professional organization. For example, I have been elected president-elect for that club, so this is really nice. Yeah, that's a good thing to have on your resume. Also, this afternoon, actually, I'm gonna go with my committee, just called Operation Heart Committee. We're gonna go teach seniors in Mission Hill, which is a neighborhood right next to school. We're gonna teach them how to measure their own blood pressure. And we built a presentation. We've worked with an ambulatory care pharmacist to do that presentation. We're gonna go with her. So really get to do events, build valuable network, but also have fun, and meet other people that have the same interests as you. So that's pretty much, yeah, the clubs and the honors program and the rotations are, for pharmacy student, a good place to gain more experience.
I actually wanted to add just one more thing. I just remembered. On top of everything we talked about on research opportunities, we also have something called SURF, which is a program that you get selected. You go through an interview process and application process, so you can do research directly with the faculty of the school. So during the summer or even during the school year, you will be working on a specific research that one of our professors is focused in, and you can help them like develop, and you're gonna probably be in the lab or in different settings, but you are directly involved with the research that they're doing, and you get to learn so much more and just broaden your horizons. And if you do get very successful in that program, it can become a long-term research, and you can just end up going to panels with the professor as well, and then getting to know a little bit more on what they're doing and what they're developing. So I think that's something to highlight as well, and something to keep in mind. Yeah.
I think some of the research opportunities at MCPHS are with other companies, such as the Schwartz Center of Compassionate Healthcare. I was part of their panelist in my first year, where I was able to discuss what it's like being a pre-med student and just going through that process. It gave like a different energy to just when you are becoming a doctor. It gives like the idea before that. So now in my second year, I am interning with the Schwartz Center of Compassionate Healthcare, where their main provost and motto and ideology is basically where even though doctors do deliver healthcare, how do we deliver it? Do we do it compassionately? Do we understand the human emotions that go into healthcare? And that's what they try to emulate. They try to promote in students and in their interns, that there's more to medicine than just healing a person or taking care of them. There's a whole lot of things that go into equality, equity, and being fair. And those are big things that MCPHS promotes. And when you do get accepted, those are some of the key things that they want from you, that you understand those concepts and that we're creating a good environment for our students, for our faculty, and for the world at large.
That's great, and I completely agree, Keyur. The concepts of diversity and inclusion are very important to everybody at the university. So one of the questions that many admitted students ask me, and I'll ask this to Emilie and Tati because Keyur really did a great job explaining his perspective. But the students want to understand what life is like on campus. What is the social life like? Because when they think about the typical American university, they have a conception in their mind of what that is like because maybe they see it in movies. And so, what is MCPHS like to you when you what is your residence hall like? What is the cafeteria like? What are the, when you go to your classes, describe that experience. This is really important because students are going to be spending the next 4 to 6 years or maybe more at MCPHS on our campuses. Decision deadline is coming up. It's May 1st. Students are going to be active in their admitted student hub on our website, just trying to gather as much information as possible about the university. So I think it would really help them for you to bring to life the university experience from your perspective. And so we'll just finish with Emilie and Tati on that question, and then we'll conclude with that.
Yeah, so I can go first. So coming from Canada, like other international student, I've seen a lot of movies, like Paul mentioned, about universities in the United States. But at MCP, I would qualify our campus as really vibrant, just because we have what's called the cardinal, I forgot the name. Cardinal booth. We have what's called the Cardinal booth, which is a place where you can get discounted tickets for students. So you can go see the Boston Bruins, you can go see the Red Sox, you can go to the aquarium, to the museum for a really discounted price. So that there are things to do around Boston, and that allows you to explore the city with friends. So that is really nice from someone that's not from here. At least it was for me. The residence hall really helped build a network. Like I said before, I really emphasize the importance of living in residence hall for at least your first year, just because you're gonna build a really valuable network. You're gonna have people to go to whenever you don't feel well. I can talk about again my experience in a residence hall. I knew nobody here. I've went like I chose. I didn't like I said, I didn't really know anybody, so I went random with I let the school chose my roommates, and I got really lucky because the 3 other roommates I had became my best friend. So, and I still hang out with them, like I said. So it really shows how important it is. And there's a lot of activities with your floor in the residence hall. Each floor has a theme and it's the same thing through all the residence hall. We have 2 in the building and 2 outside of the building. So if you in the residence hall in the building of MCPHS, you can literally wake up 10 minutes before class, go down the stairs and go to class. It's that easy. If you don't mind walking, you can always go to the 2 other residence hall that are like about a 10-minute walk from the campus. But again, there's an RA or resident assistant on each floor. It really made me safe. I really felt like I was going home after classes, just because again my roommates were my really good friend, and I always felt secure. There's always security downstairs in the entrance, in the lobby of each residence hall, so you really don't have to worry about not being safe. And then in the classrooms, me and Tati are now in one of the biggest lecture hall, which holds about 200 students, just because the faculty of pharmacy wanted to have all of us together at once to teach the classes. But even though it's a big lecture hall, teacher make it feel like a really inclusive environment. Like I've never been scared to ask questions if I had some questions, and especially in our pharmaceutical calculation class, sometimes the teacher asks people to come solve the problem, and that leads to like really funny moments sometimes. So that really sometimes it's a good bonding moment for all of our classmates. So yeah, that's pretty much what I would say about the MCPHS campus.
To build on Emilie's experience, yes, our pharmaceutical calculations class can turn into very funny moments in a lot of times. But I myself live on campus only during my first year of college, and I lived in the Faneuil Hall. Right here where I could wake up 5 minutes before my class and just run down for my class. But I never do that because I'm not that type of person, but it was very good for the convenience. It was great just having the idea of not having to wake up too early and even and it's still making to my class on time. And but I would say that coming to the US, just like every other international student, the only idea I had were the idea that we saw in the movies of just like, oh, this giant schools with lockers and all of the groups and like having separations of like people, but this doesn't really happen. Again, I know that everyone knows that Hollywood is a little bit excessive. I would say we do have lockers, so that's pretty cool. Because so that's something I never had in Brazil. So I would say that that's actually pretty accurate from the movies. But besides that, I would think that everything at MCPHS made me feel very welcomed. I never felt like I had to turn into someone else or just try to associate with the people around here because, again, I know it sounds a little bit repetitive, but MCPHS is a very diverse place. I bet that out of I can't even give you a ratio of how many people are international students or just people from different backgrounds. There's so many diversity here that it doesn't feel like you're being sectioned into a group or excluded from a group because everyone is so welcoming. Everyone is so big on being diverse that it doesn't feel like you don't belong somewhere. As a matter of fact, it just feels like you belong to something because it just turns in such a good environment. I have so many different friends from different backgrounds. We just like to share stories about our culture and like just talk a little bit more about different holidays, especially when they're coming up. I know that Ramadan's coming up, so we're just gonna go help my friend when that starts happening. So yeah, I got to learn so much more and just being surrounded by so many different people again helped me just increase my cultural sensibility as well because before that I would say that it wasn't that broad, but since we've been surrounded by so many different cultures it just turns out to be like that. So yeah, MCP is really big on diversity. I know that every month we end up having a cultural event on something. I think the most recent one we had was yesterday. I would say that it's a great environment to be at.
I agree. I think Boston and MCPHS are very much the same in the sense that they're both very diverse, right? Very safe, and in many respects, very professionally focused. There's a lot of professionals in our neighborhood of Boston, and even among our students at MCPHS, many students here are very, very motivated, I would say, very academically motivated and focused. So with that, we'll conclude by reminding students that the deadline to submit your enrollment deposit is May 1st. If you need an extension, you can reach out to your admissions counselor to discuss that. Look through the admissions portal, the admitted student portal. There's a lot of good information in there, good resources for all the admitted students. And we look forward to welcoming you to campus in Boston in just a few months in September. Thank you so much.